Hey everybody, it is nighttime. I've got some notes here, and I think my neighbor is singing or something, but I guess I'm doing something weirder than they are, so there you go. Anyway, I'm going to talk about the movies I saw today. So, I saw two movies. The first one I saw was called Finders Keepers, and it is a documentary on Amazon Prime. You may have heard a little about it. It is, well, it's very unique. I guess I'll give you the basic concept. Of course, no spoilers. We have one man who goes and buys the contents of a storage unit. Because you know how storage units will not get paid for, they'll go up for auction, you can buy the contents. Well, it turns out this guy, I think he's in North Carolina, he buys the contents, regular old storage unit. There's a smoker in there, like a grill, kind of a smoker kind of a deal. He opens up the smoker and he finds something inside. He's not sure what it is. It looks like a big piece of meat or something. And it ends up being a guy's leg. Now, I don't really want to tell you the rest of the documentary because that should be enough to get your interest. Let's just say it goes down some humorous paths, it goes down a few emotional paths. Definitely a unique documentary. I would say its greatest strength are the characters in it. It doesn't have quite as crazy a characters as, say, something like Tiger King, but they are some pretty entertaining and different characters. The strongest selling point is that they have a real knack for telling stories, and some of these stories are pretty wild and interesting. I would say it's not a life-changing documentary. I wouldn't say it's a 4 to a 5 star. It's almost a 4 star, but I would say probably about 3.5 stars. It's solid, definitely entertaining, and enough to keep your interest, and it's not that long. So I would say if you have a little bit of time, about 90 minutes, you want to see a unique documentary, give Finders Keepers a try. Now, the second movie I might have to review some notes on this one. So I've been thinking, I have to go back and check out some of the old Friday the 13th movies. Now, I have definitely seen parts of all the Friday the 13th movies. I've definitely seen the first 4 Friday the 13th movies all the way through. That would be 1, 2, 3, and 3D, and the final chapter. After that, I think I've maybe seen some of them all the way through. I know I've seen Jason versus Freddy. I think I've seen most of the rest of them in one part or another, but not all the way through. And I had a weird recollection that part 5 or 6 were supposed to be pretty good. I went back and I looked and I figured out, I think it was part 6 that I wanted to watch, which is Jason Lives. Now I'm going to check here. That is from 1986. Now, there's a couple interesting things about this movie. It's a Jason movie, so what are you going to do? It's not groundbreaking, but there's a reason that this movie is really entertaining and might be worth watching. You could even watch this if you've never seen a Friday the 13th movie and have a pretty good time with it. It has Thom Mathews in it as the main guy, and he plays an older Tommy Jarvis. Now, if you've watched all the other ones, Tommy Jarvis starts out as a kid, so it's kind of considered the Tommy Jarvis trilogy, and this is the third one. You don't really need to know who Tommy Jarvis is other than he has a thing to get Jason. He wants to get Jason. He has a reason to get Jason. And that's about all you need to know. The important thing about it is Thom Mathews, who plays him, is more famously known as Freddy in Return of the Living Dead. This is the only other big star role that I think he had, as far as I know. He's played in a lot of other things, but Return of the Living Dead is one of the greatest movies of all time, for zombies at least. It's one of the greatest zombie movies of all time. I love Return of the Living Dead. It's so much fun. It's 80s all the way, but it's great. It has great gore. Directed by Dan O'Bannon, who is wildly underrated. We talked about him recently. Return of the Living Dead is worth a see from anyone out there. But this movie is also a lot of fun. So what are some things that are unique about this Jason movie, this Friday the 13th movie? Number one, it's the first one where Jason is truly a straight up zombie. The opening scene, once again, I'm not going to give out spoilers. I mean, what can you really spoil in a Friday the 13th movie? But there are a few things. In the opening, he is dead. He is in his grave. He's got a big old tombstone that says Jason Voorhees. Who gave him a gravestone? I don't know. But Tommy Jarvis, as we just mentioned, and the guy that played Horshack in Welcome Back, Kotter, for all you older people, both go to make sure that he's dead, because he wants to make sure that Jason is rotting in hell. And lo and behold, they dig up the body. It's full of maggots. It's dead as a doornail. It looks rotten and gross. And, you know, Tommy has a fit. He wants to stab it just to make sure. So he goes and gets a big old metal fence, fence post from the graveyard fence, and is stabbing Jason with it. And a lightning bolt comes down and shocks him. And just like Frankenstein, up comes Jason. And now Jason is a zombie. He's got his mask on and he's going for vengeance, and he's looking to get Tommy. This movie has so many killings, but they're not that gory. Unlike a lot of them, they cut away from the real gore. They show some of the after effects, but it's not super duper gory. So if you're concerned about that, you can probably handle this movie. It's not that bad in the gore aspect. It is also, as far as I can tell, one of the only ones that's overtly a comedy, and has a lot of meta commentary about the Jason movies. There are several times they talk about, how adults like to be scared, and so there's kind of a little take on that. It's got all the 80s cheese you'd expect. It's got a Alice Cooper song in it. It's got Corvettes. It's got a lot more car chasey kind of stuff in this movie than they usually have. It's a lot of fun. It's not boring. It's very fast paced. It is also one of the only Jason movies where there are kids at the camp being terrorized by Jason. So that is a unique aspect as well. So I would say, if you haven't seen it recently, or you've never seen very many Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th movies, this could be a really great place to start, or a place to go back to and have just a very fun time for 90 minutes. Jason Lives, Friday the 13th, Part 6. I would give this, for me, it's 4 stars. This is rewatchable. For the average person, it's probably not 4 stars, but it is probably going to be better than you expect, or at least more entertaining than you expect. So I would say, and I saw that on Shudder, if you're wondering, but I didn't check, but I'm guessing you can find this probably a lot of places. It's not that hard to find Friday the 13th movies. You should be able to dig it up. Oh, last but not least, a lot of the Friday the 13th movies have a surprisingly good quality of cinematography. I don't know if that is something you might think about when you think of Friday the 13th movies, but even the first couple, you go back and I'm always surprised by how good they look. The darkness is not super dark. They're well filmed. This movie has a lot of really great shots. There's a shot with a turned over semi sideways on the freeway, and it's smoking and on fire, and Jason's standing on top of it, backlit, and the steam, the smoke is coming out. I mean, it's pretty epic. It's pretty great cinematography in this movie. For a movie like this, it is way above what it needed to be. So anyway, I hope that gives you a couple things to go check out, and we'll have some more movies for you soon. May not be one tomorrow. It's a very busy day for us tomorrow, but I'll have one soon. See you later. Bye.